that I firmly believe in is in the automation of procedures and the development of surgical procedures. So I would encourage everyone who wants to be a player in the medical device area to think beyond the implant itself and to look at the surgical procedure, how to develop the entire workflow in a meaningful, efficient, effective, and with high user experience level. These are the two trends that I would think that, if I need to bet, will dominate the future.
Okay, and Tamara, we're going to go to you. So talk to us about pharma. I think we all think that pharma is just GLP-1 now, right? Only diet is in the news. So apart from diet, what else is going to happen?
Yeah, so it was very interesting to hear Ori's perspective about there's no shortage of data. So I'll cover two trends and maybe offer the large pharma perspective. So one perspective is internally to a pharma company. While it's true that there is no shortage of data within the pharma company, data that is based on years of experiments, years of clinical trials, years of regulatory submissions. One challenge that I feel all pharma companies are tackling is making that data AI ready, making sense of this data, connecting silo data to each other where it makes sense, right? Not all siloed data should be connected to each other. And in that sense, we are experiencing some move from point solutions to solve specific problems, let's say in med design or design of small molecules or large molecules or basically drugs, or better understanding human biology, to really addressing the foundational data issues. So that's definitely one trend in the drug discovery space. Another trend that I would like to talk about is a lot of you here potentially are engineers, and we're looking at building digital therapeutics, or maybe something that's between a device and a digital therapeutic. And with the new regulations that's called PRDRS in the US, that decouples the risk between a drug and a potential digital therapeutics, where you can develop a digital therapeutic independent of the underlying drug that you're helping to, the patients that you're helping to affect. I think that's going to be an interesting point in the life cycle of digital therapeutics, and it's something to watch. So we went through a cycle with digital therapeutics of a hype, of saying, okay, digital therapeutics will, could have the potential to replace a lot of drugs. And then the reality met the regulatory hurdles, the development hurdles, the coupling of drug and device hurdles. Now with this change in regulation that happened in the last year or plus 18 months, it'd be very interesting to see where this takes this. And so Anya, that ties also to your GLP-1 story, right? Because all these patients and disclosure, we only have pipeline medication in GLP-1, so I'm definitely not the expert, but they'll need applications and digital therapeutics to accompany them. Yeah, those are just two trends that I'm seeing that are worth watching.
This is so embarrassing. The moderator is the one making all the noise. I apologize.
You need a more innovative call, ringtone, Anya.
Well, we're going to have a new machine-human interface with Q, right? So next time it's going to sense me, but right now, no. But I also wanted to relate to that point you made, because there was a big, I guess, aesthetics conference in Paris this week. and I just got some news from there, and everybody was talking just about diet and GLP-1, and everybody was talking how you need digital tools to moderate that, how you need to make the weight loss slower, how you need to monitor what's happening to people. So I think I agree with you very much. This is going to be very interesting.
It will be a good use case to prove or to test whether the change in regulation, the advent of the GLP drugs, and then the ease of use and the right applications, if that really creates a synergistic effect. And because I'm in the research domain, in the drug discovery domain, I'm certainly not an expert, but I'm watching.
Yes, so actually of the people sitting here and the entrepreneurs here, we see quite a lot of digital applications, not as much as digital therapy as we could have. So I think if you're an entrepreneur or potential entrepreneur and you're thinking about a good idea, this is a good space to look at. We should look at this more, Mahmoud, and get Tamara on board here. Okay, you want to go now?
I can.
Okay, so I wanted Shiri to talk about something different, because we all talk about innovation and we think about new products. So innovation in pharma, how do we get new drugs? Innovation in medical device, new surgical system. What Teva went out and did, and I was amazed, and that's why I want to talk about, they said there is more to innovation. There are many other areas like manufacturing, like logistics, even human resources. There are many areas where big companies need to innovate. And she will tell us about this, which I think is very unique and again opens opportunities for us here in East Jerusalem.
Okay, so I want to relate first to your question from previously, and then I will jump into one of Teva's initiatives called RISE. So one trend that I can talk about, and Teva is definitely acting in that direction, is due to the competition growing in the pharma industry and cost of healthcare expenses coming up. We feel, and Teva is definitely active in this field, the two fields that really need innovation and solutions are, one, how to make the development of a drug or clinical trials more efficient and less costly. So means that the more you can skip some stages in the development of the trial, do it less costly, do better prediction of the success of a clinical trial. That's one field. And the second is to improve the user experience of taking a drug. For example, if you have a drug that is biologic and you can only take it with IV injection, then if you develop another formulation, and for that you need, of course, strong chemical capabilities and CMC capabilities, then you can take it in an oral drug. So Teva, for example, is very strongly active in the psychiatry space and taking drugs that exist in the market for many years, like risperidone and olanzapine, to treat schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, and have basically developed a sub-Q injection that you can take the drug instead of every day and even sometimes twice a day, and just go and do a simple once a month or once in every 2 months injection. That definitely something that improves dramatically the life of that patient and its family, especially psychiatric patients. They can't take a drug every day. They forget, they have good days and bad days, and that experience is really crucial for them. So in Teva Rise, we develop a couple of challenges, and we have a website. You can also take a look at it. Specifically, it's active in Israel, but those challenges, we address technologies from all over the world to use AI and technology in many aspects of the business, of the pharma business, not just to find a new molecule, but to enhance clinical trials, to enhance manufacturing, for example, supply chain reliability, to improve patient's experience when taking a drug. So the fact that AI is here to help us with large sets of data is something we can take into all the aspects of the business and not just to find a new molecule. We can use that endless pieces of information and future computing. Now we have advanced computing. In the future, we will have also quantum computing, and analyze those large sets of data that you have even in a manufacturing facility. You are manufacturing a drug for 10 years. You have the batches and all the systems tracking how the manufacturing process is working for 10 years. Of course, you can go analyze it and predict better where you will have supply issues, where you will have malfunction of one of the facilities. This is where Teva is now going, and we have published a couple of challenges where we invite startup companies to apply for that challenge and try to participate in pilots together with Teva. We have now one set of 7 challenges that we published, and we intend to do so with more challenges later this year and in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I think really for us here, this is an opportunity of combination of the technologies, not just pharma, not just digital, and there are people here who understand the global business and want to help. So bring us your ideas. And Matti, they talked about digital, all of them, because that's what the world is, right, today. So you're going to have to talk about what is this. I mean, you're doing drug discovery or helping the pharma companies because you have all those pharmas as your partners or as your shareholders. But talk broadly. How is digital transformation changing the healthcare?
Sure. So maybe I could talk about it in 3 aspects. Number 1 is how it's happening now. Number 2 is what's going to happen tomorrow, because you need to be ahead of the game. And then third is how do you identify where the opportunities are. So let's start with the opportunities. In the pharma industry, there's so much left to be uncovered despite the amazing advances we've seen. And there's also a lot to be optimized and to be improved on. So there's a lot of opportunity there for digital capabilities, whether they be AI or other capabilities, to be able to help us shorten the time to clinical value, meaning that it now takes us well over 10 years to develop a new drug. It takes us, on average, more than $2 billion to successfully bring a drug from the lab to approval by the FDA, and the percentage of the drugs that successfully navigate that whole process are less than 10%, which means that we fail as an industry more than 90% of the times. And in addition, we are discovering now new biological mechanisms like GLP-1 that basically was understanding basic biology, by understanding what we could change in the cells of a human being that would make them feel full and that they are not hungry anymore and that they should stop eating. But that uncovery, which is a biological uncovery, it's not an AI uncovery, it's not a digital uncovery, is going to create a whole industry around it of new drugs and then new digital applications for that. So that's where the opportunities lie. That's where the opportunities lie. What's important in order to find those opportunities is to connect with real experts and to really understand what the unmet needs are, whether it be deeply understand mechanisms, or it's deep industry experts here on the panel, or those that are deep experts in the medical profession, in hospitals, in academic research centers, etc. So that's where the opportunities are. Now, what are we seeing right now in our space? AI, artificial intelligence, and computational technologies are helping us to understand how disease mechanisms work. We at Ion Labs have built 2 startups in that space. They're also helping us to discover new drugs. And right now, as an industry, there are more than 90% of the biological targets that we're still not able to effectively treat with new drugs, like in the neuroscience space. There's a huge untapped potential there to treat neurodegenerative diseases that a lot of us have elderly family members or younger family members that have died from. And there's still multiple types of cancers, multiple type of autoimmune diseases that to discover new types of drugs, whether they be small molecules, large molecules, proteins, antibodies, gene and cell therapies. There's still a lot to be done there. And then, as an industry, we still conduct drug discovery in labs for humans, but we do it with models that are used on animals. So all the time, you see these headlines come out about how there's a new breakthrough that has solved cancer, or solved a type of cancer, or solved Parkinson's disease, or neurodegenerative diseases. Usually that's based upon, at the best, animal models, meaning that we've tested out in animals and seen a good effect. But between that and actually being able, and this is why, we fail over 90% of the times to actually bring a new drug to the market and prove that it can work in human beings, where the biological mechanism behaves differently, is impossible. And there's really no correlation. And that's where AI is helping us already. And what's next? We're actually, as a partnership, we're actually discussing this next week with the 4 pharmas and Amazon and others. But we're starting to think of, okay, is quantum technology going to be what we will all talk about 5 years from now in the drug discovery and development space? Maybe yes, maybe no. So there's still a lot more to be uncovered. New technologies, we're always, as an industry, usually the last to be able to adopt them. But that's where good entrepreneurs are able to find those opportunities, connect with real domain expertise, and build good startups and value. And I think the advantage in our industry, as a healthcare industry, is that when we are able to be successful, and you could be very financially successful, when we are able to be successful, by definition, we are doing good for humanity. Every one of us that's in this room, that's in the healthcare space.
Okay, Matthew, I'm going to stop you because here they're sitting on my neck. But we need a few more minutes, so sorry, guys. So, yeah, I knew we need an hour, 2 or 3, but we'll try to be quick. So you're sitting in East Jerusalem. Jinnovate is trying to create healthcare innovation in East Jerusalem. I think there are 2 aspects. One is there is a healthcare system here. How can it upgrade itself? How can it bring innovation? The other is all the entrepreneurship. I mean, how many of you people want to be entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs or plan to be entrepreneurs? Raise your hand. There are a few more that I see that didn't raise their hands. There's a lot. Yeah, why didn't you raise your hand, Anna? Yeah. And you? Yeah. Thank you. So in either way, either for the healthcare system or the entrepreneurs, how can they jumpstart and bring innovation that's not trying to go back and close the gaps, but actually to leap in the future? And you each have like 1 sentence.
Yeah. So one of my first collaborations with an AI company was in 2016, 2017. And it was an African guy from Ghana that was trying to modernize the healthcare system in Africa. And based on my learnings from him, look for the leapfrog opportunities. There is a hidden competitive advantage for being in 2 hidden competitive advantages of being in an ecosystem like yours. One is that you have to try harder, you have to innovate, because you're not sitting on piles of money and piles of resources. So innovation creates necessity creates innovation. That's number 1. Number 2, leapfrog technologies. So in modern healthcare systems in the US, in Europe, we moved from paper prescriptions to desktop computers, to laptop computers, to iPads. This guy in Africa built a PBM, it's a healthcare organization, and leapfrogged directly to iPads, taking advantage of the fact that there were no computers in Africa, but a cellular system. So once that technology matured, leapfrog. And if you actually would compare their data systems, their data foundations, their ability to execute at scale compared to now an American ecosystem that this data foundation doesn't connect to that, and doesn't connect to that, that is built, that started off being more modern, you would find that they're actually behind. So my message to you is necessity creates innovation, and then jump, cut through, take that and make it, turn it to advantage.
Shiri, be half the time that Tamara took.
Okay, so my advice is to stay as close as possible to conferences, grants, whatever will enable you to have exposure to large pharma or medical or healthcare companies or conferences. The world today is so easy. I mean, you can see things that are happening in Boston and in Europe, and whatever you can do to stay connected and create relationship, apply for certain programs that you can do from here. Try to do it, get the exposure, get the advice from people that you can, and use the platforms that you have online.
Matthew.
So the mecca of the pharma industry is in Boston. We all know that. What's the good news is that 40 years ago, Boston, the Kendall Square area was swamplands, which means that it's possible to build up a great ecosystem from nothing. What you need are the people and the leaders that will do it, in my view, because we have great science, we have great technology. What we need are people that are going to do what Tamara and Shiri already said. They're going to get out there, they're going to find the leapfrog opportunities, they're going to be the Mahmouds of the world, they're going to connect with the Amirs from Hadassit and the others here from Jerusalem to create an ecosystem here. They're going to get out there, they're going to find the people that will invest in them, and they're going to leapfrog, and they're going to be able to make this happen. I have full confidence that in Israel we will make this happen, and that Jerusalem will be a central part of that.
I would say four things. The first, 26% of the clinicians in Israel are Arabic. 42% of the new the new doctors in Israel are from the Arab community. 70% of the pharmacists are from the Arab community. You are sitting on a huge human capital that need to be used in an effective way, and don't underestimate it. That's number one. Number two, be mentally prepared to a long journey. There are no shortcuts. So everyone who will tell you, just come with a good idea and the magic will happen, forget it. Not in my, at least not, this is not my story. So surround yourself with partners that you enjoy working with, knowing it's going to be an eventful journey. The third one is professionalism. So we often think that if we just come with a good idea, the rest will be done. There is no compromise on real professionalism. The way you present it, the way you manage the R&D, the way you communicate with others, stick to own this hill of professionalism in your organization. And the fourth and last one, build bridges and partnership has been mentioned with other groups. I think that these four elements will help to make the process. It may not be shortened tomorrow, but I think it will pave the road to where you want to be.
What he said.
And to summarize, one thing that Israeli ecosystem is different from any other is there are more people wanting to mentor others than anywhere else. And it really partakes to East Jerusalem as well. I mean, everybody I asked to come said, oh, they were so happy to come. You need connection to hospitals, you need connections to big companies, you need connection to anybody in the ecosystem. Talk to Mahmoud, and he knows how to get it for you. And good luck. Thank you. Sorry for running out. Sorry for not taking questions, but come and talk to us.
Thank you so much for our panelists. Now we're going to have 30 seconds for the QR. Scan the QR for the feedback. Now we're going to invite our Jinnovate startups for their pitches. Let's welcome Dr. Ismail Msallam.
Hello, everybody. Could you launch the talk? I would like to share with you our experience in new innovative treatment for retinitis pigmentosa, a disease that has no treatment anywhere in the world. This treatment called ocular RP neuromodulation. Retinitis pigmentosa is a progressive disease and lead to, at the end of the day, lead to blindness. It started with day and night blindness, but at age of 40, most of these patients getting totally blind and legally blind. Indeed, there is no treatment for this disease, and the only treatment available is Luxturna gene therapy, which costs around $1 million for each patient and limited to patients with specific mutation. I understand retinitis pigmentosa as reduced blood flow, and this has been proved even before the clinical signs of the disease developed. And these reduced blood flow lead to photoreceptor starvation, and this starvation ended with dormancy, which may extend for years before these photoreceptors die. Then, if we change this environment, then we can save these dormant photoreceptors. And we come to our solution, the ocular neuromodulation. Ocular neuromodulation is a non-invasive treatment that stimulates the trigeminal nerve, ophthalmic nerve in particular, in order to increase blood flow and then can break down the cascade of the disease. It can increase blood flow via stimulation of trigeminal vascular system and parasympathetic nervous system. You can see the treatment here. It's combination of treatment device rather and therapeutic. And the therapeutic vitamin C, it is enhancing the effect of a neuromodulation. So we give vitamin C followed by nerve stimulation for 1 hour for a couple of weeks. And this indeed just can reverse the process of the disease by increasing blood flow and restoring function of these photoreceptors by pushing them to reform the missing part of the photoreceptors as appear in the picture. We moved from theory to clinical trials. We proved this in a clinical trial involving 40 patients and running for 2 years and published recently in the International Journal of Retina and Vitreous. In these patients, we can indeed, by this treatment, restore scotopic vision, I mean night vision, effectively after this treatment in 60% of patients. Not only that, but we can also improve day vision and contrast sensitivity with a technique that proved to be safe. The only complication of this or side effect is just headache. Look at the graph. You can see the scotopic vision can be improved and maintained for up to 24 months. And if you look at the middle graph, this is the visual acuity, which also can improve up to 2 months in addition to contrast sensitivity. When we look at the competitors in the field, Indeed, there are a few, and the main competitor is gene therapy. But however, this treatment is very expensive, very invasive, and without